Kirby Air Riders is an extraordinary racing game that's filled to the brim with content and surprises. It's deceptively simple to get the hang of and incredibly fun to dive deeper into as you play more and more, with the core gameplay loop even entrancing someone like me, who typically doesn't get too much out of racers. I played a good amount of the original Kirby Air Ride on the GameCube with friends as a kid, and even though it was great, I didn't anticipate we'd ever get a sequel, especially after over 20 years. Luckily, I was wrong, and we didn't just get a sequel, but a great one. Before you really get going in the game, you can take part in a mostly optional tutorial that's both comprehensive and fast. You don't really have to hit too many buttons to control your character, as the vehicle moves on its own, so you mainly focus on things like drifting and braking and spinning. At first, I was kind of worried that this simplicity might hurt the game, but I actually never found it to be overly streamlined, as there's a lot that you can still do even with this simplicity. Kirby Air Riders has plenty of modes, making sure that everyone will get something out of the experience. The straightforward Air Ride mode lets you race against others on tracks, which is a great way to learn the tracks and play with friends. Then there's Top Ride, which is a more top-down, almost tabletop-like slot car racing mode. It's a bit less involved and there's less contestants, but I think it has its own charm and is a lot of fun to play itself. Road Trip is the one that I didn't know anything about beforehand, and it's totally new to Kirby Air Riders. You take part in a bunch of different roguelike challenges to build up your racer as you go down different paths in order to experience the game's story. It's not really overbearing, and there are lots of neat little moments filled with cinematic flair. Honestly, if you've seen all the Super Smash Bros. Cutscenes and trailers over the years, you'll probably know the kind of tone and storytelling to expect, in a positive way. It's a lot like other Kirby stories, where there's lots of cool and charming moments with a surprising amount of thought put into them. The best mode has got to be City Trial though, which doesn't come as a surprise to most people who played Kirby Air Ride. Essentially, you have a time limit where you run around a free roam area with a bunch of different other players as you try and get stat boosting items to make your vehicle and character stronger in different ways. Once the timer runs out, you face off against all the other players in your souped-up ride in one of numerous different competitions. Honestly, City Trial feels limitlessly replayable, as it's so much fun to take part in all these crazy events while fighting off aggressive players in this huge and well-designed area, full of different themed places. The shorter time limit also makes this an easy thing to do in bite-sized bits between other modes if you don't want it to get too old too quickly. The numerous competitions at the end are also all thrilling and encourage you to make the best stat build you can. Plus, the process of unlocking things through this mode and all the other ones makes everything even better. Another staple of the games that Masahiro Sakurai makes returns in Kirby Air Riders, which is a meticulously crafted mode of unlocking things. Everything you do goes towards earning new characters, palettes, courses, titles, machines, and more. It's very similar to the unlock systems you'd see in games like Super Smash Bros. Brawl and Onward, as well as Kid Icarus Uprising. It's pretty much always the case that there's a big board of challenges to complete, and they incentivize you to try different things and unique playstyles that you wouldn't necessarily do on your own. Plus, the range of playable characters spans the entire Kirby franchise, so it's always a pleasant surprise to unlock a character from your favorite past game. I was thrilled to see DeRoach from Kirby Squeak Squad and Gooey from Kirby's Dream Land 3 in it because they are my favorite characters, but I think everyone will find a character that they really love. Finally, the music and visuals of Kirby Air Riders are, as expected, excellent. Thankfully, I never ran into any performance issues. I was a bit concerned before playing that the screen might feel a bit busy with all that's happening at any given time, but I ended up being pretty impressed by how manageable everything was. Even the busiest and most hectic situations I'd run into were always manageable, and I was able to figure out what was happening. I'm not entirely sure how Sora Limited pulled this off, given how chaotic the game so frequently gets, but I'm quite impressed. Kirby Air Riders is further proof that Masahiro Sakurai and his team just can't go wrong. The racing mechanics are incredibly satisfying, there's no shortage of content to enjoy, and it always feels like you're accomplishing something and unlocking new things. Even if you're not too into racing games, I implore you to give Kirby Air Riders a try if you have a Nintendo Switch 2, as it's simply fun in its purest form. MonsterVine is giving Kirby Air Riders a 4.5 out of 5. Be sure to check out the full review at MonsterVine.com, as well as our upcoming Game of the Year and year-end coverage, as well as news, previews, reviews, and interviews about recent and upcoming games.